Nexus RV. We build your dream.
Hi, today we're going to talk about winterization. A lot of people have called in and it's very basic, and what we need to do first is evacuate the system of all fluids. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get to your black and gray tank, open that up, let everything out in a dump facility, and then you want to also put your tornado onto your black tank and rinse that out for the winter storage. Once all of that is completed, then what you want to do is go back to your low point drains, which are located in a compartment. There'll be two blues and a red. One is for the water tank, one is for the cold water line, the other one's for the hot water line. You just want to open those up, and by opening them up, you just turn the valve so that it goes with the line. Once it's like that, it's wide open and they'll drain everything out of the system. Once everything is drained out of the system, well, you just want to leave those open until you run the antifreeze through it. When pink begins to show in these two, then you just shut them. You should not have any pink coming out of the water tank if done properly. Once we're at the water heater, the 6-gallon water heater, you see there's an anode rod that has to be pulled out. And before you pull this out, make sure you relieve the pressure in the system, because if you don't, it'll come squirting out and it'll be all over you. Now this is a 6-gallon tank, so a 5-gallon bucket will not work. You'll need two 5-gallon buckets. Also, you will notice an on-off switch down here. This needs to be in the off position during winterization. That controls the electric portion of your water heater. If that is left on and somebody turns on the switch inside without water in the system, you could burn up your electric element, which therefore you'd have to replace your water heater, or at least the electric portion of it. So what we want to do is we want to pull this out. This is 1 1/16 socket that goes on here. You pull that out after you relieve this pressure up here, let it drain. Once that's drained, you turn that off, and then you can leave this out for the winter, or just put it in and just snug it up with a couple turns. What you want to do next is, after everything is draining, you want to go to the back of the water heater. And on the back of the water heater is what we call an H valve. The H valve will be sitting like this. During winterization, you want to turn these against the lines. The blue line and the red line needs to be turned against it so that no water or antifreeze can go in. But what you want to do is open up this valve here, which will allow it to flow through all the other lines and fill this full of antifreeze so nothing will burst. Now, how do we get the antifreeze into the system? Well, it's pretty simple. We have to go underneath the bed, and now we'll go inside, go underneath the bed, and show you where you actually put the antifreeze in. Now that we've removed the false panel and turned the valves on the water heater, now we go to this portion of it, which is under the bed. You'll see the water tank. You'll see the water filter, which should be removed at this time, and then the cover just screwed back on. Now we have two valves, and these valves right here are what allow us to go ahead and fill the system with antifreeze. So what we want to do is we actually want to turn this valve on, which is off the port side, and turn this off so that we do not get anything into the tank. So all we have to do is just unhook this, put this on here, screw it on, and then put the other end into the antifreeze bucket and turn the water pump on. When you do that, and then you open up one faucet, each faucet one at a time until you get pink antifreeze coming out, the RV antifreeze. You do it at the bathroom, the kitchen, the shower, the outside shower, and all this is going to run. You let it run until you get a nice, clear, or solid pink color. Once you get that, then you can start shutting off each of the faucets. And all that water or the antifreeze that went through the system will end up in your black and gray tank, and also in your in the bowl. You have to flush the bowl a few times just to get all the pink in there. But this will take care of all of your plumbing problems and all of your water lines. So now everything is antifreezed. Everything is protected for the winter. Then all you have to do is go ahead and put the cap back on after you've done all this. And you're finished doing the winterization. Now to do the anti-winterization, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is put water in your system or use your city fill outside, turn this valve off and this valve on. And once you do that, you turn the water, either fill the tank or through your city fill. And then you want to open up your faucets again until you get nothing but clean water coming out. Once you get water that is coming out that is clear, then you want to go to the back side of the water heater, turn the valves the opposite way, which we'll show you, and then make sure that the anode rod is tight and sealed. And then just run the water through it. You want to run the water through it for about 5 minutes so that any impurities that were in the system are now flushed out. Once that happens, let the hot water tank fill, and once that is filled, you can go ahead and turn on the outside on-off switch on the water heater, or just turn the LP on the inside. Once you do that, then you'll start getting hot water. Then you can test the system, make sure you didn't have any leaks over the winter, and everything is ready to go. Okay. On our monitor panel, we have the water pump and the water heater right here. So this is where you would turn on the LP portion of your water heater. You must have the pump on. You must have 6 gallons in the tank before you actually turn the LP on, or the electric portion of it on. That's how the water heater operates. That's all the maintenance there basically is to a water heater, is to make sure that it's winterized in the winter and it's ready. It has water in it during the springtime or when you're ready to go camping. Back to the monitor panel, there's a few items here. You have an inverter switch on most of these, which has a center button to turn it on and off. This controls the outlets, the 110 outlets at the television sets, which will be, in this case, in the front overhead, in the bedroom, and outside. So you do not need the generator running to watch television. All you need is the inverter. This also shows the rate of charge. This will show a bulk charge, an average absorbed charge, and a float charge. This is basically low, and then this is medium, and this is high charge. That's what those represent. If you get a fault, that'll mean that you could have an ungrounded source coming in, or you could have a problem with the inverter or the 110. But usually this will blink, and most of the time it's if a ground has been knocked off of your cord, or you have an ungrounded source coming in, it'll show a fault. Now this over here is the living room light switch, and that controls the center lights in your living room. Those lights on the side have individual switches, but this controls the actual lights down the middle. Like we said, the water pump and water heater for the LP, and these are your slide out controls. To get the slide out to come in, you just hold it in. In this case, the rear bed is going to come in, and it's going to stop by itself. And when you want it to go out, all you have to do is hold it out, and it'll stop by itself. Then we also have our monitor panel that shows you how much LP you actually have in it, the battery condition, the fresh water, the black water, and the gray water. So you just touch the individual buttons to see how much fluid or how much LP is actually in the, or whatever the charge is, to see what it is. Once in a while, these will show a false charge. Usually it's on the black tank. And that's where you use the tornado. You hook it up and you let it run for about 5 minutes with the gate valve open. This usually removes any debris so that you do not have a false reading. Okay. Then we also have up here is our generator start. This is a gas generator, so all it takes is just hold it down to prime it. You'll have the red light come on. The red light will come on showing that it's being primed. Hold it down for about 5 seconds, and then you just go ahead and start it. Once this is started, you'll see the hour meter and the red light will be on. This controls our cooling and our heat. On this one here we have a gas heat. We also have an electric heat. The air conditioner is cool and the fan speed is low or high, and you can have it on or you can have it on auto, which will not kick in until the air conditioner or the heat pump is engaged. So what you want to do is pick out what temperature that you would like it at and either turn it on cool or electric heat. Once in a while, the gas heat will turn on with electric heat to get it up to a comfortable temperature. Once it gets to a comfortable temperature, the electric heat will monitor it. It only is really useful between 55 and 70. If it's above 70, you're probably not going to be able to get the heat pump to come on. You're going to have to use gas heat. If it's below 50 in the 40s, a lot of times the electric heat won't keep up, so you're going to have to use the gas heat to do that. And the air conditioner is just turn it on, you set the temperature, and it works.
We build your dream.